Passport 175, little kind of micro bunkhouse here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. 3,200 some odd pounds. What this does a little different is you find floor planes like this all over the place, but they're almost always 7 foot wide. Passport is a full 8 foot wide camper that gives you extra living, extra storage space for the weight and cost of a 7 wide camper, and we'll dive into how that is as we go. Now, over and over and over again, you're going to hear me talk about this one being 8 wide instead of 7 wide and how that matters. That's because that's really the single most standout factor about this camper. Now, Passports have a lot of very good qualities. There's a lot of different things to talk about, and we will. Case in point, their service records. Passport service records are stellar. We just don't see Passports back with a real high frequency. When they come in used, they're typically pretty problem-free. Maybe you got to clean them, but that's about it. It's the consistency and the quality control that they have down there. They have such a streamlined build that they build the same thing the same way every single time that I think contributes to that. So being a little bit wider, even right up front here, we can see it. Instead of just an east-west bed in the camper, you also gain this nice little shoe area, as well as this big full hanging storage closet, just like you would in like a 39-foot Passport bunkhouse or whatever. 39's a bit long for some of their stuff, but I think you get the idea. Now, that little extra light under that shelf is another one of those little minute detail things that they put in here. It's not that they're the only ones to do it. It's exceptionally rare in a single axle bunkhouse with a floor plane like this to see that. Now, again, being a full-size camper, you're going to get full-size stuff. Like the bigger 13,500 BTU air conditioner. That's going to just be standard on this. Almost everything we're looking at, this is just the standard build. They found the way to do it, they do it that way, and they do it every single time. This is a newer edition at the time of this filming. These little blue LED night lights, they're really starting to catch on like gangbusters, and I like it. It gives you just enough light at night to be able to navigate through the camper if need be, but I like that it's down low, and you'll actually notice it's actually kind of shielded so that it's not going to be up in your face, so it should never bother you. Plus, you can see you've always got power outlets nearby a bed in any Passport. And again, that handy little corner area here where you walk in the door for your shoes, always useful. Now you'll notice too, unfortunately I had to pull the shade because the sun was just billowing in here and really messing with my camera, kind of like it is a little bit right now. But that big dinette viewing window right there, that's what's going to give us all those nice views. And if you notice, there is a center beam in there that is a full airflow window, so you can really breathe. Now, a lot of times when you're going family camping, it's because you want family experiences. But one thing that a 7 wide bunkhouse like this can't do without a slide out, which will add extra weight and cost to make it more heavy and expensive than this Passport, mind you, is sit 4 people at the table. Unless you're 4 teeny tiny people, and even 4 kids are going to struggle to sit at the dinette of a 7 foot camper. You know, it's really just a 2 people dinette. But this being a full 8 foot wide, you've got the same 4 person dinette here that you'd have in anything else. Now, there are things below that bench right there, and they do have to be there because there's really nowhere else to put them, but there is some storage below this one. Now, notice too, this is only a single leg table. The other side actually brackets to the wall. The reason they do that is to give you maximum leg room under here, and a person like me, I appreciate that. It also makes the table more stable. Ooh, I like the rhyme of that. But because it locks against the wall, you don't have to deal with the table rocking and rolling around when people come and go from the dinette. So if you slide in and out of the dinette, you bump the table, you're not going to spill your drinks. And by the way, all carpetless, other than the clean your feet carpet square that we have here, all carpetless all the way through. So this is a super easy cleaning model. So long as we're over here, we'll go ahead and kind of finish things out. All LED lights, by the way. But our upper bunk here, 300-pound rated with a nice big breeze window, and each bunk gets its own light, and you can individually click those off if you're so inclined. Now down here, you've got this bunkhouse garage cargo door. Now, one thing I want to point out about that is that this has the exact same deadbolt lock. Come on, camera, focus with me here. There you go. The same deadbolt lock as your main entry door. So you don't have any concerns of somebody sneaking into your camper and taking your children. And I don't say that lightly. I don't think it's a silly thing to be considered about. You know, there's no such thing as too much family safety. I just like you folks to know that you're good there. While we're back here, the 8-foot wide body does make it a little bit easier to have a full shower back here with skylight, with surround paneling, nice leg room for in front of the toilet, and this is on just enough of an angle. They really did that well. And what I also like up here is that they still included a medicine cabinet in their bathroom. Now, if you need to, if you're going to use that for toiletries and whatnot, you can. But you could also potentially roll up some towels to keep them in there for the shower. But the inclusion of both a skylight and a power vent up here is really, really handy. Lots of extra light in there, basically. Now, here in the kitchen, this is another area where we really see the benefit of a full 8-foot wide body, and it starts with the appliances having a full 2-door 6 cubic foot fridge freezer here. That's something you don't normally get. A lot of single axle mini campers, you're going to get that truck camper fridge down here below the countertop space, and that will drastically remove a lot of potential storage area. And as long as we're here, let's talk storage. Because they didn't need to worry about putting the refrigerator in the freezer there, they were able to just include maximum potential storage space in this thing, and there is another drawer below that one, by the way. And this is kind of an interesting question. Some people ask, why do they put drawers inside of doors? And long story short, part of what makes Passport really high quality is that efficiency and that repetition. You see how those two cabinet doors are the same. You see how those two cabinet doors are the same. It is faster, more reliable, better to build 2 of one thing instead of 1 of 3 things, like a drawer door, drawer, a cabinet door, different cabinet door, then 2 different cabinet doors. It's better this way. They have fewer jigs. The guy has to exchange jigs out fewer times. You get quality through repetition, that cookie cutter style production. That is what's made Passport so darn popular. Now, something else a lot of smaller campers don't usually get is a double sink, but we're still going to get a double sink here. And because this is a little bit bigger camper, we can have a little bit bigger holding tanks. And if you notice at the beginning of the video, I actually published all the tanks and weights and measures from the manufacturer. Now, this is also standard. You've got a nicely positioned swing out TV right here. And where it's located, if you want to turn it toward the bunks at night, you want to watch it at the dinette during the day, you want to watch it in bed at night, you can. But the TV itself actually functions in a way as a cabinet door. But you'll look back here and see this is actually a great little charging station. This is a nice spot to keep the phones and maybe tablets or whatever out of the way and only break them out on a rainy day. Although you do have all your normal TV hookups up there. Big kitchen breeze window kind of finishes out the interior. And like I said, it's not that you haven't seen some of these things in campers before. It's just that in a floor plan like this, you don't typically see them because they're almost always narrow body. Oh, right, almost skipped over this right here. So this vent right here, it's a combination vent and skylight. And they do that a lot in Keystones, and this throws a lot of people off, because if you look outside, you'll actually see that this stovetop hood does not vent outside. And that really throws a lot of people off, because that means you're not exhausting heat. That's why they put this up here. For the exact same money, the Passport team discovered they can put this roof vent up here, because heat rises. It will organically exhaust heat, not a problem. But the other thing is now we're getting more of that natural ambient light in here, so it's doing 2 things instead of 1 thing for the same money. Smarter. And that's what you get in a Passport, is smart money. So all over the place outside, just like inside, the story of being bigger but same weight and same money comes through and through. But how are they accomplishing that? How can you make something bigger but be the same weight and money? And the answer is 1, super high volume production gives them super high volume purchasing power, but 2, really intelligent construction methods and material selection. Start from the ground up. We have an HSLA frame, high strength low alloy Z chassis, not I-beam. It is lighter but stronger, built very much like an aircraft. Morning, buddy. Afternoon, whatever time it is. So over here we've got this massive pass-through, and you have like these 30-inch wide baggage doors that are also extra tall. And notice that you have the same size compartment doors on both sides of the camper. That's kind of uncommon. Not every single camper is going to do that in this business. But one of the reasons I want to come down here is, again, lighter. how are they keeping the weight down while going to an 8-wide platform instead of 7-wide? And it's an all aluminum structure. In point of fact, the roof is actually outfitted with galvanized steel roof trusses, which are light and very strong. And what's neat about those is that you can actually, they're actually punched out. So you can punch them out with grommets to run wiring, so the wiring's not going to accidentally get caught on something. But down here, notice too, one of the reasons I think that these don't come in with problems is that all welds are double-sided, whether it's horizontal, vertical, whatever. Now, under the bed like this, a lot of brands won't do that. They'll say, well, it's not a structural area. Well, they still do it here, because I think the knee bone connects to the leg bone, and maybe it matters. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but I know that I have confidence in the way they're doing things here. Also, little campers like this often lack things like a light in the pass-through. And you'll see the Passport also nails that. And you'll see that there's no exposed wood around here. Yet again, another thing, that, or structure, rather, because it's not a wood structure, it's aluminum, pardon me. But yet again, it's another one of those little things that they put in here to help protect this for the sake of longevity. You know, if what your goal here is you either have a limited tow capacity, you have a limited budget, or you just don't want to go large, but you want to go family camping, or buddy camping, or hunting camp, or whatever. This is a good camper for things like that. It's something that won't break the bank as compared to a lot of things out there, but give you the space that you want to do that with the reliability that you need to feel confident, which is part of why this has Keystone's 3-year structural warranty on there, which is the single most comprehensive structural protection out there from a manufacturer. There are different structural warranties out there. They're not all created equal. I highly encourage you to look into that, and you'll see what I mean by there. Now, a lot of tiny 7-wide campers, you'll see the manufacturer might offer like an off-road package, and it lifts the chassis up. This is kind of basically standard already that way. Now, they don't use this flashy, fancy off-road looking tire, but the chassis is up. You've got all the same clearance as those lifted campers, but you just have that here. Now, you can't really see it from here, but right up in this area, you actually have a simple little solar prep plug if you want to plug into one of those portable solar panels that you can get either here at our service center, through our online parts store, or whatever the case may be. We do have those available to you. And again, smart money. The things you're going to use, see, feel, touch every single day, Passport spends the right amount of money on those. Like, they use the nicer magnet latches instead of the cheap plastic latches, so they're not going to, you know, rot out over time. A full outside utility shower, not just a black tank flush. That's another example. Like the full dual source water heater to make life simple. Aluminum wheels, standard, because again, something you're going to use, see, feel, touch every day. Now, here is that bunkhouse garage door that I mentioned, and I'm looking at the handle, and I locked it up earlier, and then I forgot to unlock it, so pardon me while I juggle some keys with my face. But the point is, you can lock this, and you can deadbolt it. It has the exact same locking mechanism as your main entry door, because it itself is basically a tiny entry door. Now, what's neat is you can use this for just like generic cargo storage, or what you can do is flip this thing up right here, and you'll notice it's actually got its own strut system so that you don't have to like try to lock it in place and it doesn't fall down in transit. But you can use this for just huge traveling cargo area right here. And I mean, there's just no real limit to what you can do with it beyond just the physical size restraints. Oh, something I always forget to talk about on a Passport, and this is kind of a neat feature, it's often missed, is if you come over here, they put this extra little amber light right here next to your sewer dump station. They do that on all Passports, and this light is actually tied into your outside awning light. So basically you have one switch for all outside lighting, and that is handy for like those late night or early morning departure tank evacuations. And because storage can be at a premium on this, they do include their handy little sewer hose caddy. Now it's kind of a little road splash down here right now because this trailer literally just came in from the manufacturer. So I suppose this is a good time to talk about the fact that you don't pay extra dealer fees here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan, because we just don't do extra dealer fees here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. So cleaning it, showing you how it works, filling the propane tanks, giving you a battery, water and electric surge protectors. That's part of our price tag at Haylett RV. We don't charge you extra for things that you or the camper need. Spare tire is standard. Now, quick little note for you guys. If you are ever measuring a camper for RV covers, which you can also just get right from our store or our online parts store, If the tire is attached physically to the camper like this, you need to consider that the back of the camper for measuring for a cover. If it's sticking off the bumper, you don't measure it. So that's just a handy little tip for you. Now it is uncommon, but some single axle campers will not have front stabilizer jacks. Passports will, standard. Now I already mentioned how you have awning lights, because that light switch connects to your black tank valve light switch, but it's also an easy tilt power awning, so literally 2 fingers you can tilt that and give yourself some easy runoff if it's raining. Now that's also a self-righting awning, so if you leave it out and it's windy or something like that, and then you close the awning, when it's cranked on an angle, it'll self-right itself and it won't break. No big deal. Sometimes people wonder, why is the black tank flush hooked up over here? And the answer is because that's the most direct route to the black tank itself, to give you the best evacuation possible. And one last little quick thing here is the little grill quick connect. You know, stuff like they have the double entry steps instead of singles to make coming and going easier. They have a strutted door so the wind won't slam the door open, or the kiddos won't throw the door open and smash the awning arm, which is right behind the door there, to give you a nice, decent awning space. And again, for me, it all goes back to the service records on Passports. These things are smart money. Every time I start budgeting myself, like, okay, if I were looking to get into a new camper today with my family, what would I be on? These guys are always in my top 3. Always. And for the reason that they are light, they're less expensive, and they are reliable. And those are 3 good things to focus on. So with that, give us a call if you need more information. 800-256-5196. We're Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan, and we only do everything: hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, and everything in between, with the exception, again, of dealer fees. We don't do those. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.